Good evening, Mr. Girish. How are you? I'm glad to be here with you. I want to make with you an interview about something like talking about your management day life and something like that.
Yes.
So before of all, I want to know about your company, Shah International Trading LLC.
Yeah. The company Shah International Trading has been operational since last many years in Dubai as a general trading company, and we have offices in China, India, and UK. And Dubai is the main base for us to promote goods which we offer from those countries. The company deals in wristwatches for men and women, and that's the main activity of the company, where we have our own manufacturing plant in Japan and China, where we manufacture watches, and then we bring it over here, and then we distribute it to wholesalers, who then give it to retailers.
Okay, Mr. Girish. Now I want to ask you about something of your day-to-day life as a work.
Yeah. See, my day-to-day work revolves around, firstly, because I have to have the larger picture, being a manager, I spend some time every day in looking at what is happening in the UAE in terms of the macro trends. So this would be by reading the newspapers, by seeing some television news coverage, by being aware of what's happening in the country, to understand that what kind of environment we are dealing in. So it's very important for us to keep in touch with the current economic climate, what's happening. So my first work involves in trying to be in touch with the local news, with anything major which affects businesses. It could be new policies on economic policies, it could be something to do with shipping, it could be something to do with currency. So those are the activities. Then I also have to keep in mind what is the shareholders, what do they desire in the business, what kind of activity they want in the company, and then I prepare a list on a daily basis of what are the things I have to do for the day. And the last one is that I have to then share these plans with the staff and then monitor how they do it. So that's my day-to-day work.
Okay, now I want you to tell me about your organization managerial level.
On the managerial level, what we have is we have a director, which is myself, and
The
then
top, you mean the top manager, right?
top management. Yeah. Then below that we have three main managers below the director. One is accounts manager, one is general manager, and one is an operations manager. So the operations manager oversees the day-to-day operations for the staff, of what they are doing. Accounts manager is involved in purely the financial side of things, to understand what kind of creditors we've got, how much money is outstanding with the customers, preparing the bookkeeping and accounts for auditing, because we have to prepare year-end accounts. And then we have a general manager who takes in all the information which the director gives in and makes sure that the two managers are performing to what they have been asked. And then below them we have the sales staff, the junior staff.
What do you think, Mr. Girish, putting your own family bone in the first managerial level, or
Yeah.
you think it's already no problem to put anyone?
No, it is. We need certain skills for a good manager or somebody at a senior level, whether it's a director or whether it's a general manager. You need essentially three things. One is that you need to have the knowledge of what you're doing. So you need the knowledge of the work. So without having this knowledge, you're just otherwise doing blindly. So knowledge is very important of anything you want to do. Second, what is important is having experience, because you can have knowledge which is all paper and theory, but you have to have some experience in that kind of work. And lastly is that being a good manager, you need to have a teamwork. You need to have a skill where you can work with a team. So these are the three key important skills.
So you don't care if it's from your family or no. You only care about these skills.
Yes, it has to be, even if it is family, then they have to learn these three things. Then only they can be a good manager.
So okay, then which part of your job is the most challenging?
The most challenging part, according to me, is that today if we fix any target, whether it's a sales target to sell any product, we have to be very careful of the overheads the company is going through, because these days everything is getting expensive, right from the utilities to salaries, transportation,
Yeah.
rents. So, and these will always keep on increasing in every country, in every business. So to deliver the result which we have, which we want to give in terms of sales or the performance, we have to always match it with we have to make sure that the costs are kept under the budget. So this is the most challenging part, keeping cost under control.
Okay, Mr. Girish, what leadership style do you use with your employees?
See,
I'm not saying specific for your staff, no,
yes,
all.
all. Yeah, see, from my experience, I have seen that in my case, I use three different leadership styles. Number one is you have to lead by example. So, which means that today, if I am telling someone to do a certain job, first of all, I have to be able to do it myself. So then I can show that person that this is the way you have to do the job. And so I have to lead by example. Even if it is a simple job, it could be maybe approaching a customer in a retail shop, or it could be doing a basic work in the office.
So
If the leader will do it, they will not feel that it is below them to
Yeah.
do that job.
So you want your employees to be equal to you.
Equal, yeah. So one is to have a leadership by example. You have to set example to them, number one. Number two, the decision-making process has to be with the team. So if I come and tell my team that, look, this is the project we want to do, or this is the sales we want to achieve, and just tell them that you have to do it, then it become like a dictator,
Yeah.
that you have to do it and it's very strict. But if I involve them and tell them, look, these are the customers, this is the market information, these are the facts, do you think we can work in this way or in this way? So if they are involved in the process of feedback, then what happens is that tomorrow when they do the actual work, they will not think that the boss has told me. They will feel that they have themselves their opinion is there, and their ideas were taken into account. So these are the two main things, that any leadership we do should be based on objectives what we want to achieve with the teamwork.
I like it. Now, Mr. Girish, I want to tell you, how do you delegate your job when you're absent?
See, in my absence, what I do, generally, I will always appoint one team leader who's below me, because we will always have a team of 2 or 3 people who are working to any project. So we will take one person as a team leader. So if the absence is going to be long term, maybe say few weeks, then we might say that the team leader will also change every 2 weeks, so that everyone gets a chance to understand their role. So we'll always appoint one person as a temporary team leader, and then I set up a reporting system so that they will produce a report. It could be end of the day report, it could be end of the week report. They will produce these reports and they will send it to me by email, so which I can monitor in my absence and then guide them things which they need to change.
But the leadership who you put for maybe long term, not long, sorry, for short term,
Yeah.
can he change the rules? Or
No, they cannot change the rules, because the rules are based on certain experiences which the senior leader has put into account. so he cannot change the rules, but they will have little freedom to take decisions on the spot,
Yeah.
because otherwise they will be calling all the time to the manager and saying, what do I do now?
You will take some
So we give them some room to maneuver where they can take a decision on their own. Like for example, if they are going to meet a customer whom they have to collect money and the money is already due, and if the customer does not want to pay, they will have freedom to say, okay, fine, I will come tomorrow, or I will give you 1 more week to this way.
Okay, Mr. Girish. Now I'm gonna talk with you about the culture.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best culture you can follow, and how do another culture in your maybe competitor company will affect on you?
See, what I do is follow 2 types of culture. One is a slogan called "Each one, teach one." So, any work which a person is doing, he will never do it alone. So, otherwise, what tends to happen in companies, the managers or junior managers, they don't like to share what they are learning with other people, and then they want to try and create an atmosphere that without me this company cannot work.
Yeah.
So it has to be that any job anybody is doing, they have to teach somebody else what they are doing. So any email they are making, any decision they are doing, they are always copying one more person. So that person is learning like a shadow person. So that if this person is absent, there's always somebody ready to do their job. So one is each one, teach one. That's number one. And the second one, which we do, which I believe in, is that we always keep 2 to 3 people in every task which we start, so that other people get a chance to be involved in the team and they also learn. So these 2 things are main for the culture.
By the way, the first one, when you said
Each one,
teach one,
Yeah.
this is what you say for your leadership. You put it in temporary case
Like,
for a short time.
yeah.
Yeah, you teach him
Yes.
so he can take your place
Yes.
in your absence.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's good. And how do you think you can motivate your employees?
So we motivate employees generally by 2 ways. If they are small targets to achieve or small things to do, we will motivate them by saying that if you achieve a certain task by a certain time, then we can give them maybe like a lunch together in the office, or free lunch, or we may give them tickets for a movie where they can go with their family. So some outing where they feel happy that I did this and I got some motivation, something to look to.
So I think this week you will give him Batman and Superman.
Yes. Then the second thing which we do is, of course, when the goals are a little bit bigger, like sales targets to achieve or certain things which they will be reviewing on a yearly basis, then we will have to give them a monetary gift. So it can be linked like a bonus, that if you achieve so much sales, you get so much commission, and the more they achieve, the more they get commission. So they're always motivated to achieve more.
I like it. Is there any place for me? Let me know.
Sure.
Okay, what are the different type of group work in your workplace?
We have only 2 groups. One is a managerial group, and other one is a outdoor sales group. These are the only two groups which are the main groups. Outdoor people go out to make sales and to meet customers. Managerial are in the office who manage the work day by day.
Okay, how our team need to decision making in your department, or to be say in your company?
See, how the teams use in decision making, what we do is we take input. As I said earlier, when we discuss any project or we have sometimes weekly meetings. We will always discuss the project or the task at hand, and then we will encourage people to give their feedback. We take input from them, and then based on the input, we decide what is the best solution we should go forward. And many times it happens, if you are in a group of 3 or 4 people, there are some people who by nature, they are not very talkative.
Yeah.
They like to feel shy. They may be very clever, but they don't like to talk.
And always want to stay
So we
alone.
make it a rule that everybody must share one point of the topic. So this way they don't feel shy, and they build their own self-motivation skill.
Okay, Mr. Girish, now I will let my friend Assam
Okay.
complete the interview.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharif. Hi, Mr. Girish.
Hi.
When making a team, what capabilities do you keep in mind?
See, when making a team, I keep 4 things in mind. Number 1 is that do they have the skills? Because you need the right skill for the job. If the skill is not good, then they will not be the right mix.
Yeah.
So number one is having the right skills. And number 2 is that they should have the experience of the work they are doing. So, because having knowledge only is of no use, they must also have experience, so that it's easy for them to do the work they have to do. Then the third thing which I look at is that we don't want people in the team who are always successful. We want somebody who has failed in his job before, because if they have failed in the job before, they have experienced failure. So it's very important to include a team with all these 3 things. Somebody who has had failure, because then we can rebuild his confidence. So these are the 3 main things: skill, experience, and somebody with a record who has seen ups and downs in their job.
This means that's three points you are looking for.
Yeah.
It is very important
Yeah.
to you choose your team.
Correct.
The skills
Yeah.
and the experience and the record.
And the record, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Girish, can you tell me what resources do you give your employees to complete their job?
So the resources which we give them, one is we make sure that everybody has a mobile phone with internet, and they are on the social media, so they can be in touch with the latest trends of what's happening. So one is social media. Number 2, we like to send them for any short courses. If there are any courses, training courses, which will increase their own learning. Second is the training courses. Then we encourage them to join business forums, so where they can go and interact and network with people of the similar background. And so these are the 3 key areas which we like to give them. We support them with this. One is with a proper working environment with the social media. Second is with membership to different forums, and we encourage them to join study programs. These are the 3.
Great. Mr. Girish, how do the employees behave with each other?
The employees generally are very good, but no relationship is always smooth. So we always have, there are many times there are arguments or discussions or little debate on how things should be done. And as long as it is not a personal debate or an argument, it's fine. It concerns if we are looking for a particular task which somebody is giving their views, and if their view may not be accepted. So we don't mind that, but it is generally like that. There are both.
Okay, Mr. Girish, can I know
Can I know how do you interact with the employees?
See, the way I react to the employees is that number one, we treat them with a lot of respect. So, because if you give respect, you will get the respect back. So, number one, we always give them a lot of respect. We treat them with respect. Number two, we encourage people inside the team not to become very familiar with each other. Because if you become too familiar, then they lose that sense of responsibility and they become too close to you. So we encourage them to be formal. To be formal so that today if a person is in a senior position, he can ask his subordinate to do something. Otherwise, they might take advantage of each other's friendship. So we make sure that they maintain a formal relationship, but they treat each other with a lot of respect. And of course, we tell them also not to talk about their personal life with each other, so that it should be a business-friendly environment. That's all.
So you believe that about the manager,
Yes.
he must to respect his employees
Yes.
to get back
The same respect. Yes.
the same
Correct.
respect.
Correct.
Okay, but this takes me to other question also. If the manager is not respecting his employee,
Yeah.
what is the case is going to be there?
If they are not respecting the employee, then what happens is that when there is a review of the employee's performance, that's the time this matter will be informed to them. That there are several times when this was done or this was told to you, but you reacted in this way, and this is not a good sign for you to not to respect your senior, and that you have to change. And then we give them some time to change, and we give them 2 or 3 more instances like this where we warn them that if they don't change, then there will be action taken against them. So then they try to change their approach.
Okay, Mr. Girish, how do you manage this
Generational differences.
differences in your workplace? Generational.
See, generational differences is happens in all the working environment. Even at home, we have 2 generations, 3 generations sometimes. So the difference is always there, but we encourage that the older generation should also hear to what the younger generation is saying, and the younger employees are encouraged to take the advantage of the experience of the older generation. So we just make sure both the generations are told that you have to take from each other the good parts, what they are telling.
Okay, can I know if your employees make any mistake, how do you solve it?
You see, if they make mistake, we immediately inform them that this is a mistake which has taken place, and they have to make change to their approach or to the way they are doing things. And then again we have monthly review of each employee. So we inform them that in your review, in the last month you have done these things, you have to change. So we give them 3 warnings, we give them 3 chances to make changes. And if they don't make the change, then we will have to take measures of asking them to, either leave the company or leave the job.
Okay. So, Mr. Girish, how do you communicate with your employees?
I would say majority it is by phone when we are talking orally, and then anything which is very important must be communicated by email, so that there's a written proof of exchange between both sides. So email documentation is a must.
What problems do you face while communicating with your employees, and how do you solve it?
Many times we have problems with the employees because they are not working very well, and that usually happens. They may be having some problem at home which they bring to work, because you cannot help it, because if something is happening at home, then it tends to be in your mind all the time. So when they come to work, they are not paying any attention to the work, and it could be anything which could have happened at home or at work, and those pressures, they affect the quality of work they're going to do. So generally this is what we find, is that people have lack of attention when they are doing their work because of certain pressure they have in their personal life. So this is one issue we face here, and we have what we have done for this, we have kept one person in the office who was like a human resources, it's not a manager, but it's just one person who's very good with this skill of talking to people. So we encourage them to talk to each other, and so that they can talk to them in confidence and say, look, this is a problem I'm facing, and they try and advise them what to do, so that the pressure is reduced for them otherwise. So this is the only main key problem we always find, is that people cannot concentrate on the work because of this home pressure they are facing.
Before I'm asking the next question, there is one question that came in my mind.
Yeah.
How is the internet, it is effect on your company?
You see, we cannot do without internet, because all our communication with overseas companies is done through Skype. So the Skype video call or Google Hangout, we use these two for communication because it is free. And then of course all emails can only be managed with the internet. So overall we have to make sure that the internet is the key medium to communicate with everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now my main question about that. How do you use internet in managing communication with your staff?
With the staff, mostly it is through email, and sometimes with video call. But generally it's through emails. Internet is used with that. Of course, internet is always also used for doing research on the product or the project, because without that you cannot get an edge over other competitors. So we use the internet really a lot for looking at social media trends, sales of what other people are doing, and that helps us to make our own decisions.
Okay. So you believe in about the internet in your company?
Yes.
That you can manage your company with the old world and with staff.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the staff, when they are using the internet, that they are using for the company or for general company
No.
and
They are
themselves, private life,
Okay.
and thus did the effect on your company
Yeah.
or effect of the cost of the company?
Yeah. What we do is we have a policy that we tell the staff that in some companies they block certain websites where you cannot go. Sometimes they might block Facebook, sometimes they might block some social sites. We encourage them that we are not going to have this military type of policy. We tell them that they have to practice good governance themselves. We tell them that you have half an hour every day, 30 minutes, anytime during the time when they don't have much work. They can roam around on the internet free, as long as they don't go to any sites which are restricted. but they can do their personal things. So we give them some time every day to do their own personal access using the net. And most of the time they follow this. They follow this system.
Okay. There is also about the staff when they are starting duty and ending of duty.
Yeah.
Do you have in your company any system of start duty? If you are coming, if you can come in 7 and you go out, for example,
Yeah. Yeah.
you come in 7 and you can leave at 3, or you can come 8 o'clock, you can go 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's an employee's choices
Yeah.
in your company, or that's you manage it, it's fixed. 8 o'clock start,
Yeah.
5 o'clock is done.
Yeah. No, in our case, what we do have is we have a flexible system where when we employ them, we give them 2 or 3 different time windows. We say, okay, either you can come at 8, leave at 3, or come at 9, leave at 4, or come at 10, leave at 5. We give them 3 windows because they might prefer earlier to come, or sometime if it's a lady, she might prefer to come a little late if she wants to attend to her home before she comes. So they select what they want. And then we also encourage, since last 2 years, we tell them that you don't have to be tied on to the desk and this thing. We judge them based on the performance of the project. So we give them a deadline. If this is a project, this is the work you have to do, but to finish by this time. You want to do it at home, you can do it at home. You can do it at office, you can do it at office. So many times sometimes they might say they have to look after their child, or sometimes they have some other issue at home. They will call to say, I'm not coming today, but I'm going to be working from home. That you can call me anytime you want at home. So they are genuinely working, and as long as they deliver the work by the time which you've given them, usually by evening time they will upload all the information which we ask them to do, or any work we ask them to do. So it's flexible, flexi hours. And we encourage that because these days the transportation is getting more difficult, traffic is getting difficult. So we want to build a culture where people can also work from home. So they could come 2 or 3 times a week to the office to get the general feeling and then go back.
So I think that's all your employees, they are happy.
They are very happy, yes.
Thank
They are
God.
very happy, yes.
But did all other managers, they are believing on same your policy in your company?
No, they don't. They don't believe in it. So what we do is, if that particular team is being handled by one manager, and if that manager says, no, you have to come here and work, because he might feel that work can only be done in the office, that it may not be possible to do remotely. So he will tell them to come and work from office.
But as your policy, they can work at home, so they can be comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, they are doing that project.
Yeah.
Okay, without any
Supervision
boards
or- yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
or pressure from
Yeah.
anybody, so
Yeah.
they can do the job by 100%, and they can submit it to
Yeah.
you, and you are looking to the job with the deadline.
Yeah. But
Okay.
also what happens is when we employ them, we also tell them that we don't mind if they want to work from home some days of the week, or for the reasons which they will discuss with us in advance. But if the manager or the team leader who's involved in the team, if he says that no, I want that person here, then they have to listen to the team leader. Because sometimes the job may be very sensitive. It may not be possible to do it from home. They have to come to the office to do it, because certain files or certain documents they may not have access to at home.
Okay, that things just take me to other question. Sorry about that,
Yes.
Mr. Girish. But how I will tell you that question, it's, as you are in top managers, okay, in top levels managers, when you are giving the project for your employees or to the team leader, did you give that project as long term or short term?
They are usually short term.
Usually,
Usually very, very short term.
okay.
Could be few days to a few weeks, that's all. It will not last, no. It would always
okay.
be within 1 month. It will be very short term task. It will be
Okay.
very short term projects, yeah. It will be very short term projects,
Uh-huh.
generally, yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Girish. This is the sorry about that.
Okay.
Last question.
Mhm.
What is your advice for future managers and leaders and leadership and team leaders?
See, my advice would be like this. I have decided that there are 6 points which every future manager or a good leader should have, and they are general. Number 1 is the manager must develop the skills for the job, because I cannot work, say, in a police department without knowing what is policing means. So it has to be, one is to develop the skills. So today if you're working in an engineering factory, you have to have the skills as an engineer or technical skills. So number 1 is do not join work or a company or become a manager in a company where you don't have the skills for that. And if you want to work in that company very badly, then go and get the skills first, train yourself, and then apply for that, because you will be doing a lot of disservice and dishonor to the company you are joining if you tell them I can do this job and then you cannot do. That's number 1. Second is that the manager has to lead by example, that you have to be able to show others how you're going to do the job yourself, however low it may be. Today it could even mean that if you want to do photocopying, you have to be able to know how to operate the photocopying machine and then tell that person that this is how you do it. So you have to lead by example, so they don't feel that, oh, this is not my job, this is somebody else's job. So that's number 2 is leading by example. Then the third thing, which is always good for not only manager or a leader or every employee, is always to have a mentor. A mentor is somebody who you have faith that person is very knowledgeable, he is wise, he knows how to do things, he knows my work very well. So if I have any problem, I can go and ask them, how do I do this thing? How do I, have this problem in work, or even at home, I have this problem, but because you are experienced, you can guide me how to do it. So that mentor will always look out for the interest of this person. So having a mentor is very important. Mentor or some person who you feel is more superior than you. Then the fourth thing is that feeling should be there in the mind of the manager, that how can I contribute to the company so that the company grows more. So if you have that attitude that let me try and see, maybe if my company asks me to go, say, to travel from here to, say, from example, they're going from Dubai to Muscat, and the company may say, well, you're a senior position person and you're 3 of you going, you are a manager, you can go in business class, these people have to go travel in economy, but this person will say, oh no, let me try and save money for the company, I will go, we will all 3 go in economy. So if you try and save cost for the company, the people are watching, company bosses are watching, and they will say, look, this person is always very, very keen that company should do well. So they will not unnecessarily try and make the overheads of the company. So look for the bottom line of the company for the profits. Then the fourth thing is that in every company there are always people in the team who are doing things which are wrong. Some people may be very lazy, some people may take advantage of the facilities. Many things are there. So when you know this person is doing a wrong thing, the best thing is to make a note in your mind and say, okay, I don't want to do this thing. He may do it, that is his lookout. But if I want to build myself as a good manager and a professional, I will not do these things which are wrong. So this way, you automatically will be alert when something like that will happen come in your way. Then the fifth thing is that if the manager shares genuine advice with the customer or whoever you deal with, then he will go on a long way in building customer relationship. I'll give you example. Supposing today I have a retail showroom and for example I'm selling simple case like battery for use in remote control or battery for mobile phone or charger or whatever, and I know that this battery is expiring next week, sell by date is written there, and you will come as a customer and you will buy it. I can keep quiet. I say, okay, not my problem, let him go and buy. But I can tell him that, sir, wait, don't buy this. This battery is expiring next week. I will give you something else. You can buy some other battery or some other brand. It is 1 year shelf life. So I'm genuinely helping this customer not to get cheated, though it's legal to give you the product because it's still under the sell by date. So that customer will go back and tell his other two friends that, I went to this shop and that person was very good. They have a good policy, so they always help. So genuinely help your customer. These are my points for a good manager.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Girish, for that you are cooperating for this great interview and great information about the management and leadership. And it was very helpful for us. And we want to thank you a lot for that value information that you've given us. And we hope to see you again.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot, Mr. Girish.